Hey, Vanna. Good thing about the internet is you can't actually glomp me. Because I'm not terribly inclined towards that sort of thing. Hey, Gina. Bust in like the Kool-Aid man, prove you're wrong. But you can't. Which is good because I don't really like being touched that much. I don't particularly enjoy being touched. You know, like yeah. Thank you, Vanna. I need personal space. All right, let's see how long it takes for other people to start coming in. No, 6 feet seems pretty good, actually. 6 feet does seem pretty decent. More space, the better. Or, everyone can stay like completely out of like different building. I have bad hearing, so make it 5. Yeah. Yeah, maybe just have them not even in the same building. That works. Hey, well, Craig. Feeders? I mean, I find that kind of thing weird. That's a good distance, yeah, Vanna. That works for me. Would I recommend people avoid theaters? I mean, probably. It's a weird kink for people to have. And one that feels kind of like exploitative, dangerous. Yeah, something about it just feels that people deserve love. Well, yeah, absolutely they do. I'm all about, body positivity. My issue, I think, is like that feeders, there's something exploitative about feeders. Because their whole thing is their kink is watching other people get fat. Hey, Anunnaki. Like their whole kink is making other people eat. Like giving an alcoholic alcohol. Kinda. So yeah. Something I'm definitely not comfortable with. That's one of those kinks that I'm definitely not comfortable with. Thanks, Craig. I mean, let's be honest. It's not like most. It's not like most fat people need encouragement to eat. Fat people tend to like food. They'll eat on their own. They'll eat plenty. Hey, Brutus. See ya. Feeders are one of those kinks that I am uncomfortable with. From like an ethical standpoint. I mean, there's a lot of kinks where it's just like, ew, no, gross. But that's one of those ones where I'm like, ethically. Mr. B situation. What, the one about his friend turning out to be kind of shitty? I mean, it seems like Mr. Beast, has condemned her and acknowledged the harm she did and apologized for it. So it's whatever. Boogie 88 faking cancer. I mean, hardly surprising. It's not like Mr. Beast can never be canceled. I mean, he could. Sure, he could. A lot of people tend to blame his identity as one of the reasons for his behavior. Who, Mr. Beast? Zaxby's box is underwhelming. Cancelled. See? Exactly. Right. Trans woman, right? His friend was a trans woman, right? Person doesn't stop being trans just because they're an asshole. So still her, her identity and her behavior. And yeah, it is wrong for people to claim that the fact that she's trans is why she was awful. The two things are unrelated. In any group, you're going to have people who suck. In any population, there's going to be people who are just awful. Trans people are the same. Yeah. Out of 100 trans people, one of them is going to suck. I did not get a new chair now. Yeah, out of 100 trans people, one of them is going to suck. Out of 100 cis people, one of them is going to suck. Out of 100 men, one is going to suck. Out of 100 women, one is going to suck. Like, it's just... There's no getting around it. I mean... Mr. Beast's friend wasn't... It's a lot of sucking. Yep. Holding onto my hair for dear life, kinda. Yeah, Mr. Beast's friend wasn't awful because she was trans. She was awful because she was awful. But, of course, transphobes... What you do? I don't even remember. It was like sexual assault or something like that. Was it pedophilia, grooming? I don't even remember. State Department of Corrections officer died in a private plane crash with an entire family gospel group. Why do I feel like the phrase "and nothing of value is lost" is probably appropriate there? Of all these stuff in Discord chats, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast is someone that I still couldn't give two shits about. Yeah, it's whatever. Menstrual cycle? No, I'm quite happy not having a menstrual cycle. That's I'm actually pretty satisfied about not having one. Yeah, having a few days each month where I feel anywhere from kind of uncomfortable to really fucking awful. No. I like the good stuff about being a lady. I mean, not necessarily produce. Some, yes. Fashion and makeup. Except I don't like makeup, Little Craig. I actually don't like makeup, so... And I don't really know much about fashion. Game of Thrones? No. I have never watched Game of Thrones, Anunnaki. Yeah, I mean, there are some trans women who do wish they could have a menstrual cycle. And then there are trans women who are like, no, that actually sounds pretty awful. All right, produce. I'm going to issue a warning right now. You are getting super fucking close to a ban. Because you're getting like real fucking close to that, to what is a woman bullshit. And I don't fucking truck with that shit. Like, you are right on the edge of transphobic nonsense about, oh, trans women aren't real women. So, yeah, you're going to want to back the fuck off from that shit. Menstruation is not what makes a woman a woman. Because also, a lot of trans men, men menstruate. They're still men. Just because they get their periods doesn't mean they're not men. What makes one a woman? I mean, there's the whole host of physical, social, mental, emotional, cultural uh, traits that any given society associates with femininity and thus womanhood. I mean, like, trans woman, young woman, tall woman, blonde woman. They're all just words to describe specific people. Hey, Anderson, trans just short for transformation. Indeed. No one would ever say that Optimus Prime is less valid just because he's a Transformer. Optimus Prime says trans rights and also death to the Autobots. I don't know if he says death to the Autobots. Hey, Trash Bandy. I don't know if he says death to the Autobots. I've never watched or read any Transformers stuff. I mean, it's relatively new, but I mean, it's. Man, like, I heard about Chaz Bono when I was a kid. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's been like, it's been a solid 10 years that it has been normalized. And it's not like trans people were unknown before then. Like I said, Chaz Bono was a huge deal when I was a kid. There was also all that shit with. There was also, Jerry Springer had a lot of them on, although 9 times out of 10, yeah, it was really exploitative. What's up with Jerry Springer? I was just saying that, like, back in like the 90s, even back in the 90s and 2000s, like, he had trans people on his show pretty regularly. But usually in a very exploitative manner. So. You are the father. Well, that wasn't Jerry. That's what's his name? Maury. He had both brothers. And I mean, it's also worth remembering, like, 90s and even into the 90s and into the 2000s. There was a lot of not all the language that we have now was really there, and not all the understandings of people that we have now were there. So there was a lot less acceptance in general. towards trans people. Even less than there is now. And so, yeah, in some cases, people, somebody might have gone on there as a cross-dresser while they were, they probably were trans, but didn't have all the language for it to really express their feelings about it and blah, blah, blah. Can I generally get the same TV shows in America? Yeah. Yeah, so Canadian television, I believe it's 40%. I forget the exact just like North American broadcasting. Yes, we do pick up. We do get a lot of Canadian, or we do get a lot of U.S. programming here. Blanking on the exact amount of Canadian content that is needed. Yeah. Okay. 55% annually or 50% daily. So, yeah. So under Canadian broadcasting rules, the under requirements set by the Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission, the CRTC. Under the CRTC, Canadian broadcasters, Canadian television broadcasters, need at least 50% Canadian content per day. So, yeah. So I mean, it's half of half of content on Canadian television on Canadian channels needs to be Canadian. Hey, no name. Aw, what's wrong, no name? But then, yeah, the other half is US. And beyond that, we pick up a lot of American channels. Like NBC, ABC, CBC, all big here in Canada. So we get a lot of US channels here in Canada. And then even the Canadian channels do need, a lot of their programming is just grad from the US. Like comedy here in Canada. Half the day is just US shows. And then the other half is just for laughs reruns. Or at least it was back when I was a kid. I don't know if they've switched to something else since then. But back when I was younger, back when I still watched TV, back when I still watched TV, comedy was like 50% just for laughs, 50% U.S. programming. That's life pre-COVID. Yeah, fair, I suppose. I want to go to a 4DX movie theater. I don't know what 4DX is. I wanted to go in to see Twister, but they don't exist in my area. Oh, I already say started playing Deadpool in them instead. Jeez. Yeah, that's fast. Well, I suppose between Twisters and Deadpool, Deadpool is definitely going to be the bigger draw. The seas shake. One of those things then. Water squirts at you. Yeah, so one of those. Yeah, one of those things. It's like immersive experience. What does Deadpool squirt? Moving on. I want tornado. Yeah, and it is. I mean, it kind of like it for people who like Twisters is obviously going to be like is almost certainly the better movie for. Stole that from Jordan. Ah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I suspect that like Twisters is probably the better immersive experience film, but Deadpool is absolutely the bigger draw. Yeah, like, there's no question that Deadpool is going to be the one that gets way more people in the theater. It's going to make way more money. Hate nerd culture. It does get annoying. Hey, well, Greg. Nerd culture does get very annoying when it gets like really successful. Like when it gets like really big the way it is now, it has gotten pretty annoying, honestly. Ponyo? Ooh, Ponyo. Ah, well, actually, Ponyo was. Ponyo, I must admit, was one of my least favorite Ghibli movies. Danny Doom, yeah. I did see that, Little Craig, and I think it's stupid. I think it's a shitty decision to make. Because Victor Von Doom is not Tony Stark. They're different characters. They're very different characters. Is Disney desperate? I don't think desperate. Is desperation. I mean, there may be a little bit of desperation because I mean, certainly they've had a couple of movies that underperformed. I think probably because of the Kang actor. That actually, yeah, you're that very well may be the case, Anunnaki. They had to get rid of Jonathan Majors, which fucked everything up. Um, and if they're gonna pull in Kang, yeah, obviously, like they felt presumably they felt like if they needed, if they're going to do Doom, then they needed a big star, they needed a big name, and then they're like, hey, I know. People loved Iron Man. People loved Tony Stark. People loved Robert Downey Jr. Let's bring back Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like trying to cling to the past. And like it bugs me because like they're very different characters. Doom is not a quipper. I mean, it's Robert Downey Jr. He's going to be making jokes, right? He's going to be doing quips. He may be hey, Oranges. It's not that Downey's a bad actor. It's that they are going to write for Robert Downey Jr. And that means they are going to write him as Tony Stark, but evil. And that's not Victor Von Doom. And I also just wish that they'd cast a Romani actor in the role. Because Doom's character is very heavily defined by his experiences as a Romani youth. Both Fox versions are bad. They were. And now they're doing like another shitty live action. Doctor Doom is just never going to get a good live action adaptation at this rate. Like at this point, Doctor Doom just is not allowed to have a good live action adaptation. It's doomed. Yep. MF Doom. Yeah, I mean he's like the best. MF Doom is the best live action version of Doom. Hey Kelly. MF Doom isn't good. He's not. Well, I was talking about the rapper as well. I've never listened. I've never listened to him myself. Mid Death Grips actually sucks. Never been big on rap, so I would love MF Doom. I mean, probably not because I'm just not. It's just not a style of music that I listen to. Well, album dedicated to his love of food. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty great. Anyway, while I'm complaining about shit announced at SDCC, Star Trek: Strange New World. RDJ's Black Panther. I think I did. I think I might have seen something like that. Yeah, just cast him as everything. Yeah, just have him replace everybody. Yeah, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. They released a teaser, like a few minute clip of one of the episodes of the upcoming third season of Strange New Worlds. And I don't know if that show is going to get a fourth season. If it does, they need to stay the fuck away from Vulcan episodes. Those writers need to never, ever try to write an episode about Vulcans ever again. Hulk versus Wolverine movie? Yeah, sure, why not? Whatever. Just don't make it Hugh Jackman again. Like, let Hugh Jackman retire from being Wolverine. Let Hugh Jackman make musicals. That's that's what I think. That's what Hugh Jackman really wants to do. He wants to do musicals. Let him make musicals. He did a good job. He did. But he did a good job for 20 fucking years. Let him move. It's time to move on. It is, nerds need to learn how to move the fuck on, I think, is my big issue. They get so hung up on the past. Hey, Selma. They need to learn how to move on and let things end. Steve Blum was a good Wolverine. He was. Yep. Yeah, there've been a couple. That's just so wonderful. No worries, Sama. That's so wonderful. I mean, the first three X-Men movies were. First X-Men movie was special because it was like one of the earliest of the modern era of superhero movies. Pro era or odd future? I have no idea what you mean by that, Anunnaki. So yeah, like the first X-Men movie, you know, is one of the earliest of the modern generation of or of a new generation of superhero movies. Enjoying the Final Fantasy? Nice. You done a Predator? So have I. So like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you had the classic Richard Donner Superman movies, and then you had the Tim Burton Batman movies, you had the Blade movies, but I mean, like X-Men, Spider-Man and X-Men sort of ushered in a new era of that Wolverine was awesome. Cool. Yeah, like X-Men and Spider-Man sort of ushered in a new era of superhero movies. And because of their position sort of leading that era, they were seen as very special. Spawn wasn't as big a hit. Yeah, like I'm sort of looking at like the movies that were sort of hugely successful. Spawn, as I recall, the Spawn movie sort of wasn't a failure. Everybody loves the Persona series. Yeah, I've never really looked into them much. But like looking back, even the first X-Men movie was okay. It had some, it had some great stuff. Like it had some really good stuff. Stewart and McKellen were fantastically cast and played off each other really well. What persona should I do first? Start from the beginning. I say start from the beginning. Play through them in order. Blade is officially in the MCU. Yeah, I did see something about that. Specifically Wesley Snipes' Blade, yeah. Weren't they working on a Blade movie with Mahershala Ali? Do I like donuts? Some. Like the Spawn movie. Channing Tatum made for a great Gambit. I did hear that Channing Tatum finally got to play Gambit. I am happy for Channing Tatum. I don't care whether he did a good job in the role. Pretend you're gay, like honestly, I don't even care if Channing Tatum was good in the role or not. I am just genuinely happy for him that he finally, after all this time, got to play Gambit. Because he wanted it so bad. He did work really hard to try to get a Gambit movie made, and it just never happened. And it would have been terrible. It would have been a bad movie. Like it would have just like genuinely would have been a shitty movie. But glad that he got it, that he got to play Gambit. Should have had some OG X-Men magic. I mean, I always like Magic. She's a cool character. She was always a standout in the comics. I mean, even in the New Mutants movie, moment of casual racism towards Danny Moonstar's side. Even the classic guitar look, even down to the classic cards he used in the comics. Yeah, it's. I did see like a screenshot. Yeah, even in the New Mutants movie, aside from her casual moment of casual racism towards Danny, uh, Magic was one of the cooler characters, one of the cooler parts of the New Mutants movie. I have no idea what style Persona is. Is she lesbian? I say yes. Canonically, it's never really been explored. Um, I think a couple of modern writers sort of seem to see her as bisexual. I have an argument that for why she is a lesbian, not bisexual, not asexual, nothing else. Just she is just full on a lesbian. But in the comics, she has never had a romantic interest. Like she's never had any love interest in the stories or in the comics. She's never had any romantic arcs or anything like that. Um, there was a semi-recent New Mutants run by Hickman and Dugan, where she flirted with some aliens, 2 men, 1 woman, which was clearly, like, very clearly meant to imply that she's bi. But at least as far as I know, I haven't heard anything about her having a love interest in the past couple years either. But like back in the 80s, she had like a lot of subtext with Kitty Pryde back in the day. We brought back the Juggernaut, Toad, Psylocke, Electra, Jenny Blaze, and Wolverine's half brother. Yeah, they did seem. Yeah, I did hear that they brought back like a lot of characters. Which, hey, remember these characters? Hey, let's throw in another cameo. Hey, more cameos. Hey, yo, let's just throw in more cameos. Hey, we got budget. Here's another fucking cameo. We got the budget for cameos at the ass. Whatever. That's like a good story. Game called Wuthering Heights, Wuthering Hearts, or Withering Hearts. Better than the Doctor Strange movie. The first one? Yeah, I was not a fan of the first Doctor Strange movie. Second? Haven't seen that one. Did that one have a lot of cameos as well? All the bad guys that died got brought back. The alarm of this hilarious to see. Illuminati. Ah, yes, I do remember hearing about them. Xavier and other people. Hey, number 7. There was Professor X, and there was other people who I can't even remember. Mr. Fantastic, I think. You have Zits. Zits suck. Don't watch Twisters. I've had shits that was better than that movie. Hear that, Vanna? Donut Predator was not impressed with Twisters. But did you see that? Did you see it in 4DX with like the shaking seats and shit? Long Legs. I haven't. I haven't watched Long Legs. But Donut Predator. Did you watch it with like the shaking seats and the water being sprayed on you and all that immersive shit? Miswriting. I try to like anything I waste that much time on. Yeah, that's fair. That's that's a good way. That was often kind of the same. I don't know, like it depended on the movie. Like, do you think Breaking Bad is the best TV show? Probably not. I liked the dodge that was in it. Grandparents played the original Twister, and I didn't appreciate because I was 5. Which, yeah. Best TV show ever is Sesame Street. That's what I'm going to say. Best TV show, Sesame Street. Later. All right. Good night, Sama. I'll be leaving in a minute or two anyway. I'll be leaving in a minute or two as well. If I'm muttering, oh, come on, what are you doing 15 minutes in? Then I know I'm in for a bad time. Alternatively, you could be in for a really good time if you decide to just take a. Like, if it's so bad that it gets funny. Well, people don't understand that about remakes or sequels and judge them on the first, which is fine. What about the comparison in mind? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get going for tonight. I'll be back on Wednesday. Dumbass love story and corporate greed. I mean, it's Hollywood. If you want to see, like, if you want to watch a movie that's just about like tornado chasing, watch a documentary. If you're like, if all you want to see is storm chasing, then there are documentaries about that. But anyway, I'm leaving, so thanks for coming. And good night, everybody.